All right, guys, welcome. We have been doing this channel for 8 months. 8. Can you believe this? 8 months.
It's been going pretty fast.
It has flown by. I have had so much fun, like being next to you, kind of just trading, learning off of what he's doing. I've copied him a few times.
I've copied you a few times.
Hey, you know, so I've learned a lot throughout this journey, but it has been a fun 8 months. And I love hearing from everyone with questions, and we actually get a few comments on people saying like they were watching our videos and they love it.
Yes, that's
which
definitely
is super
interesting.
fun.
We do have a lot of questions on this episode, which we'll cover at the end. So
yes. So yeah, 8 months we've been investing $50 a week, or
yep.
wow, my mind just went blank. So 8 months we've been doing this now, $50 a week. So instead of buying fancy coffees, you know, which would add up to about $50 a week, we put it into our investment. We make a choice. We can buy, we can sell, we can use a double shot once a month. So it's been really fun to like go out in the world and you see a business and you're like, oh, I wonder if that's public. Just kind of opening my eyes as we go. And my viewpoint on a lot of things has changed quite drastically in the last 8 months. So.
And that was kind of the reason I wanted to get her into this. So it's been quite the ride, and we're still here for it. So this week the market was pretty boring overall. So that's why I asked for a lot of questions, and we did get about 6 of them from people. So we're going to go over those at the end. But we might as well jump into the trades that we made this week. I know that I did too, so I went ahead and sold something and I bought something.
What'd you sell?
So I went ahead and actually sold, I think it was my second biggest gainer, just because I didn't want to be long for NVIDIA earnings on this name. So I sold all of Taiwan Semiconductor. I may buy it back again, but I went ahead and took, I think it was like a 15% gain on it this year. I sold off all of that. I actually kept most of the money. So I have some cash in the account. For once in 8 months, I'm just kind of sitting on the sidelines with a little bit of money, just in case
something sparks.
Something happens. There wasn't a whole lot that I was looking at this week. But the other thing that I did buy, I actually bought because of Jill this weekend. Oh. Do you have any guess of what that even could be?
Well, my birthday was this weekend.
It was. And it was something that you did, and I was shocked by it.
Oh my gosh, what did I do? I don't know, babe.
So I went ahead and bought Coca-Cola this week.
I did order a diet soda at a restaurant on my birthday, and I never drink soda. That's right. You were very confused.
I went ahead and bought Coca-Cola, yep. So I bought 1 share, so a portion of the $50 plus a portion of the Taiwan Semiconductor sale, so I still have some cash. But I think they also pay, it's close to like a 3% dividend. I think it maybe is like 2.7, but I'll put that on the screen. Okay. But that was the trade that I made this week. What about you?
I like it. I didn't even think to buy Coke or Pepsi. I don't know if it was a Diet Coke or a Diet Pepsi.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I went with Coke because the Paralympics is also this week too, so they're a sponsor, but I think Pepsi is as well.
I dabbled in the thought of if I wanted to sell something, but I decided I've always said this, I like to invest. I don't really trade, I invest in things I like. So me selling, and this was a question I think last week, it was like, what makes you think about selling, or what makes you sell something? I'm like, I don't think about selling anything ever. Like, once I own it, it's like mine. It's mine, I don't want to give it up. So I actually kind of thought, like, maybe I should just sell something to sell something. What would I sell? And I kind of looked through everything and didn't want to. So I just was boring, and I just bought something with my $50 this week. Any guesses?
Marriott.
No, but it is one that I currently own, and I upped $50 more in.
It's gotta be Amazon then, probably.
It is Amazon. We've just been talking a lot about different adventures that we're working on and things that we are getting off Amazon for said adventures, and we were talking more about like Amazon having drop boxes, if you will, mail boxes.
Lockers.
So let's say we were out of the country traveling, we could order something on Amazon and have it shipped to a locker. So.
And then you go pick it up from the locker.
Yeah. So
I don't
anyway,
know if it's international or not, but I still like the idea.
That being said, the graph though for Amazon is real bad. Like day, week, month. So I'm like, I'm never going to let go of Amazon, right? Like I said, I don't trade, I invest. So why not snag up some shares while it's really, really low and go from there? So it was down for the day, but I did buy it this morning at about 8 a.m. And according to the price I bought it and where it closed right before this video, I still actually went up. The stock price itself for a share went up $2.50 from 8 a.m. this morning. So while it had a real bad day, my choice to invest $50 more into Amazon, I feel like was a good one.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and briefly go over the totals that we have for this week as well. So last week I was sitting at $2,183.94, up on the year 4% exactly. Market didn't do very well this week. I was down, I think, about 3.15% just this week alone, which is not too great. So now I'm actually sitting at $2,162.79, up on the year just 0.59%. So again, like I said at the beginning, pretty boring week, and it was a pretty down week for me.
As I say, it wasn't really a boring week. It was a bad week.
Yeah.
Everything was pretty bad for me.
And then you were at $2,412.17 last week, up 14.87% on the year. This week, you lost about 1.24%. Not about, exactly. So now you're actually at $2,425.90, up on the year 12.83%.
Boo.
It's kind of a bummer, but now we're going to go ahead and go into the questions that we have. There were 6 of them, so if you want to stick around and listen to the answers, definitely stay around. But the first question is, what is the biggest lesson Jill has learned thus far?
The biggest lesson for me has probably been, I'll go back to the don't panic. I know I say this a lot, but even though I've said it since probably our first episode, January, whatever, don't panic, never panic. There have still been moments where I can think of Lululemon, for example. I sold it and then it started to go back up and I rebought it and then I was just being squirrely. I sold it, I was like, oh no. And then I bought it again and so it went up and that's what made me rebuy it and then it went down.
I think that you probably, what you've learned, if I could sum it up, would be that you like to just invest.
Yes.
You don't like to trade.
That is my style. You know what? Roll with it. If that's your style, we've proven that it can work to just invest. So don't be squirrely. Don't be panicking, that kind of thing. And then just in general, my viewpoint, like I said, has very much changed. You know,
I would say it kind of teaches you about yourself.
Yeah, it teaches you what you're interested in, where you put your value. Clearly mine is in shopping.
What woman doesn't?
But yeah, just actually, I feel like to sum it up though, that would be the biggest lesson is understanding that everyone can have their own style. So where he's more of a trader, he's watching the news, he's buying and selling based on things that he can foresee happening or that he thinks might happen. Whereas maybe I'm not watching that type of information and I am just investing where I feel sturdy with my money.
All right. And then I think this one is directed towards me. These 3 questions were by Alex. And Alex, we know. So be the story, Alex. So the question is, what have I learned from observing Jill go through this experience? And I think that the best thing that I've observed, I kind of just mentioned it, is I think she's very just steadfast. She likes to buy stuff. She likes to hold stuff. She doesn't allow herself to really even, I think, look at the market during the week other than this period of time. So, you know, whereas I'm looking every day, every minute for the most part, maybe the hands-off approach clearly works better because she's kicking my ass.
I'm kicking my ass, damn I!
I don't know if I should say ass, but if not, I'll bleep it out. But I just think that kind of watching her do this, at least with the limited time that I have with her, which is just what you guys get to watch, that, you know, I've learned that she's just likes to hold. And I think that that's kind of a representation of our relationship too, so. We don't like to panic.
No panicking.
And I guess this is kind of 2-person. What surprised you the most from doing this?
Surprised me. I'm actually surprised. I feel like when I speak now that I know what I'm kind of talking about. I would say I went into this in January very much not nervous about this podcast because I am the novice. So
Yeah.
I get to get on camera and be like, I don't know. Because that's literally what I'm here for. But now I actually feel like I have some ground to stand on, and if somebody asks me a question out and about in my life, I might actually have a
response for it.
A response or an intelligent answer on investing.
Yeah.
Investing, not trading.
Yeah. And that kind of leads us into the next question as far as I feel like it's probably for me, but I always distinguish on here between a trade and an investment for the most part. If I'm going to hold on to it, I say it. If I think it's a trade, I usually say it on here. And then the process that I go through that. So price does kind of determine for me. Like if I think it's down a lot on the year, I kind of make trades based on if it's going to bounce back. So if a stock is down like 50% or more on the year, and I say it's a trade, at least in my view, again, we're not Again, I'm not recommending buying stocks specifically, but as far as that goes, there's just bounce trades that I see that I think the stock will just go up based off of how far it's already gone down. So that's kind of one of those things. Mm-hmm. The next question is, should I scale into an investment? Again, not recommending anything, but sometimes I like to, and with the time frames that we have on here, we're basically building an investment account, I feel like, versus a trading account. So
I would agree.
I feel like if I like let's say Starbucks or Nike, like I bought Starbucks and I waited and waited to buy it, and then it finally went up like 30% on news. Would I like to buy those kind of names lower? Absolutely. Because if I don't think I'm ever going to sell things like Starbucks or Nike, I want to buy them as cheap as possible. Mm-hmm. Like that's just how you do it. Like you don't want to sell it down there, you want to buy more of it. So if I know that we're doing this for maybe, who knows, 10 years, 20 years, or I'm going to keep the stock for that long, yeah, I want to buy it lower. Mm-hmm. So, and then the last one I think is for me is thoughts on Tesla at the same price as Christmas 2020. I'm fine with it. A lot of stuff that happened during 2020 and until now. There's some stocks that are way worse off from those dates than Tesla. So I think it's a weird time with interest rates right now. People are starting to, I would say, struggle a little bit more just on the average from the data that I see. So buying cars I don't think is on people's top priority list. I think it's buying groceries is the biggest thing for a lot of people, and paying rent. So a new car, I think when that all kind of shifts, it's going to be no-brainers buying Teslas at the price at points that they are versus other cars that are out there. And solar panels, robots, robo-taxis, all that stuff. So there's a lot. A lot. But I think that about covers everything for this week. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments. We're happy to answer those. But yeah. Anything you got?
8 months.
8 months.
8 months.
Again, I'm not recommending, why can't I say that word right now?